Welcome back everyone. It's again Genghis Wolves, of course. And no, this is not the game you already saw, if you saw the first game, Unswamped between us and S4-X needs advancement. If you remember correctly, in the first game we had 4 113s and 2 Grand Wagons, and they had a lot of 113s and no E5s and no Grand Wagons. This time we have 3 113s. I wanted to, but it became a bit hectic. You only have 2.5 minutes between the games, by the way, in case you're not aware. So if you're, trying to change setup and you have 15 people talking at the same time, not having tanks because they're all rerolls, you did. And yeah, everyone being a retard, it gets kind of tricky. So that's why I have 3 113s instead of 2. I'll come back to that in a second. 250Bs, 4 Grand Wagons, 2 Batchats instead of 3, 2 140s, an STB and an RT. And on their side, instead of having like 6 113s, right, they only have 2, 3 Grand Wagons, 3 5s, so 8 heavies instead of 6, 7 they had last time. And then, I guess they reduced the amount of mediums a bit. They had some 50Bs last time, which were like over here. As you can actually see though, it is exactly the same site. It's literally down to the same spawn for me. But yeah. So, before... do I pause it? Let's talk. The idea this time was to again rush under them, but this time to use 2 113s and 2 Grand Wagons. I figured that the Grand Wagons were going to be really powerful on these 2 corners, which we saw already last game, so I wanted to try that out and see if the Grand Wagons would actually be fast enough. I still wanted 2 Grand Wagons in the back. We're going to leave because I want to have that hold down possibility. Yeah, also kind of wanted the 4 Grand Wagons because I figured it's possible they do something kind of different, and in that case, changing up your lineup a little bit is always helpful. For example, if they decide to like counter push middle with like mass 50Bs, Grand Wagons can be nice to take it down. I didn't really think much further than that, but that's about it. So we're gonna rush in. We're gonna otherwise take pretty much the same position as last time. As I said, like what I really would have wanted is one more Batchat, one less 113 here. But yeah. We're going to have 1 113, so down here, the other one is going to be playing over this, and the 2 Grand Wagons are going to take the corners. However, as you're going to see, enemy seems kind of prepared. They have a Batchat spotting, actually pretty well done. He gets a shot in. I get in a really nice snapshot into that guy's lower plate, although it was aimed at his lower plate, yeah? In case you do not believe me. Our RT gets a massive shot, and suddenly the Grand Wagons just get murdered. I'm also yelling to my teammates here to just get safe. So like really our plan right now is just to get safe, make them overexpose. Grand Wagons have really great turrets, but if they actually have to peek all the way over, and we have pretty wide angle where the different shots come from, so someone is going to have a shot at turret side and so on, there's no way they're going to play this. So now, you see, we all arrive here, we like, panic, oh my god, they're peeking, are they rushing, let's get safe, let's get under them. And this is where you actually see some nice communication. Okay, I say cookies, you go down here, he pings affirmative. Can you see that? That's communication, guys. That's a good player. He pings affirmative when I tell him to go there. Perfect. 1 Grand Wagon, Jurgo takes this corner. Grom is going to move up over here, and I myself am already going that way to take that position. We're again relocating some of our mediums here. I'm telling this batch to fall back. He's being pretty aggressive over there. I'm seeing if I want to shoot anything with my artist strike, so that's why I'm driving up the wall like I read that. They push over here again. As you can see, we have exactly one guy sniping from here, because this position gives some really nice extra angles, but it's pretty exposed, so that's why you don't want to have too many people there. And it's also pretty easy for Archie to mine shoot into, for example, so that's why you don't want to have too many people there. I see the Batchat down there. And I figure, wait, actually, why am I not killing this guy? I know how to kill that guy. Put a shot into him, and the heat is my knife decides that he should run away. Which I completely agree with. That shot for me was really bad, and I only track him. I decide to maybe try shooting that, but in the end I don't go for it. I kind of ignore the bad shot. Maybe could have gotten an extra shot into him, but it doesn't really matter. And so, let's pause it more or less. No, not yet. Let's keep going for a bit. So we're slowly discovering where the enemy tanks are, right? They have 1 Grand Wagon down here. They have 1 Grand Wagon dead. That's good. They have the 3rd Grand Wagon also spotted, right? So we know where the Grand Wagons are. We know where the E5s are. They're all 3 in this area. We don't know yet where the 113s are. We see their mediums moving up over here. They've got now 3, 4, 5 actually. So pretty much all the Russian mediums and the Batchat are over here. And the other 2 Batchats are spotted in the base, right? Actually, I don't even think I realized it that much at this point in the game back then. But right now, every enemy tank except for the 2 113s have been spotted, and I know exactly where they are because they can't relocate without getting respotted. So, let's have a look now exactly at what I'm trying to do. It seems like a great moment. First of all, notice this positioning here, yeah? I'm deciding to pull tanks away because I want to push on this flank of the map. But, since they have their mediums over here, I'm going to do what I already talked about when I was showing the map tactic in the first game. Use this ridgeline, this area here, and the tanks I chose, to create a crossfire they can't push into, even though they're outnumbered. They're outnumbering us. So basically, by going hold down over here, as well as possibly here, with one tank, and possibly using a crossfire from back here also. So for example, here with a bad shot, or maybe even behind a building here, right? You can create a really strong position here. With the Crown Wagons hold down, the 113 could, for example, go down here, and just control them if they try and go up the bridge and be hold down that way without having to use gun depression. The Crown Wagons can keep peeking on here, farm everything, and then you can have like a guy here who controls the ramp up here and can get some side shots in. So that way, with like 3-4 tanks, we can defend that flank perfectly. And on top of that, since like this guy can keep sniping, and for example, the guy standing here, right from here, he can also snipe through this gap onto down here. While at the same time, he just has to turn his turret and he can snipe over here onto anyone here. So we do that, and at the same time, we relocate our mediums away here. I noticed that they do not this time, they're not using this position, which is really which was worrying me last time. So I'm way more confident about pushing down here this time and taking the upper ground at the same time. And we're going to do that straight away. Or at least that's the plan at this moment. We still have Comic Cookies working this down here. He keeps spotting any up and downs here. He can get in free shot. He's able to farm that Crown Wagon over time. So that's really, really good. He can't get pushed, because if he gets pushed, again, he's got support by this. He's got support by the 250Bs. We're going to stay sniping here. Since the heavies are now focusing on this, and the mediums are going to rush this, I decide to have, the 50Bs stay here and continue support of basically the Crown Wagons. Because at this point in the game, if the enemy is, like, one of the better things they could do, because we have all the map control, is to try to break out at some point, right? And that could look something crazy, yes, but one of the best ways for them to do it, like one of the best things they could do in this game right now, I think, would be to rush here or here with their heavies. And like if they rush here with their heavies, here or here with the mediums, killing off the Crown Wagons and the 113s, keeping just like 1-2 guys up, right, so we can't counter rush easily, and then basically take map control here at the same time, and if possible, like putting up some pressure with mediums here so these guys can't snipe or getting under, something like that. So in order for that to be kind of countered, if I put 250Bs here in the back, the moment they push, for example, like the first 1-2 autoloaders instantly die because you've got 2 Crown Wagons, 250Bs, and 1-2 more guys shooting them. So that way we lose 2 people, possibly 3, but me and the other 113. I'm here, by the way. I now drove away. So yeah, we would lose 2 tanks and hopefully kill at least 2 tanks, and then they're kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere with us being on other surroundings. So actually, one of their best counters is not a counter. So we're able to move up on here unspotted, and right now my plan is basically when you get to this position, you're always gonna have 2 options with your tanks. Yeah, so it's me. I have Honey as a support up there. She climbed up. That's really awesome. Honey is a girl, so yes, she. Captain, and like, so the 2 140s with me. Great example also of great play. I say mediums push down here. Yeah. What does the STB do? He goes up there. Now, to actually make a great play, he should say, Genghis, can I go up there? I say yes, and that way I'm actually aware of it. But luckily I realize. And for example, the STB is like, okay, I'm not the best tank at like hold down, flat war. I've got great gun depression. I'm way more useful if I go up, use a high ground, and if there's people here, I can keep farming them and I can keep my pressure up on all over the map. I'm way better at that than, for example, pushing down here. What I actually wanted to talk about, though, is when you get here, you always have 2 options. Either you push around the long way and try to kind of surround this position, or you kind of go in and either hug this or hug the buildings. I would basically try to get out here and then push more or less along this line. Considering the enemy positions, they only have 1 Crown Wagon here and so on. I think it's the best option for us right now if we manage to go all the way around and actually get a complete crossfire, because they shouldn't have too much down there. I managed to find a bat shot, and you're pretty much safe here. But then there's 2 bat shots down here, and I'm like, fuck! And so I decided to drop Artist Strike on him before I die. Well, not at all selfish, right? Not at all selfish. Anyway, the E5s do have some like minor shots into me, but I managed to dodge them. The 113s now get spotted, and okay, let's repause it now. Also, the score is 5-0, which means that the game is already kind of won. Basically thanks to maneuvering, right? That's all we did this game, is we maneuvered around and got ourselves in good positions. How do you perfectly finish this game while making sure you don't lose it, basically? Considering this on the map. This is at least my point of view, yeah? But I think what we're going to do, and it's pretty much perfect in this situation, you send a bat shot, you have this map control, yeah? You want to keep these, for example, these mediums. Look at their positions, they're really nice, they've all got decent positions, right? Hold down, house, whatever the fuck. Then you have 2 Crown Wagons here, so this is perfect crossfire. If they try to push into this or into this, you can have the 50B sniping. You don't really need these people to snipe anymore. That allows you to get the batchet to move up here and get in their arty or in their backs. You can use these heavies to push into this. If they decide to counter push you, you can just fall back around the corner with all these 4 heavies and have the 50Bs and Kranwagons and mediums from like at least STB batchet support. If they decide to push into here, Kranwagons can fall back, crossfire, these guys come from behind, and if they just stay there, you're gonna have 4 heavies on one side, 2 heavies on the other side, another heavy in their side, and 4 mediums raining in hell all the time with a batchet in the ass. So, complete surrounding. So, that's what we're gonna do. It's always important to really understand that even when you're pushing in at the end, it can be really important to have 2 50Bs in the back to do crossfire. It can also be the correct decision to get the 50Bs forward, yeah? Depending on what you want to do, how you want to approach it, what the situation is. But I think in this case it's kind of the best example. Also, after I give a really long discourse how it could be better to get 50Bs in the back, at this point I basically say, okay, it's 7-8-0, go kill them all, move it. And then I die. But, yeah. I don't know. I know these games were not the closest and the most intense, some of them being more close than the others, and S4-X might not be fame, but I still think these games were pretty interesting. I think they showed a lot about how the map works, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. In that case, you know, give me a like, give me a subscribe, stay around, give me a comment. If you don't, if you find this too boring, if you found, I don't know, something else wrong about this, if you would like more info about certain things, certain reactions, certain how, I don't know, anything, give me that in the comments too. Like, if you don't like this video, feel free to dislike, but tell me why, and that way I can improve. Otherwise, yeah, you know, watch us clean up their lost guys. I won't show you post-game stats again because I don't think it's that interesting for this, and I'm still a lazy person for not interesting things. But that is kind of that. And I hope you can also see the difference between OMNI on Swamp, by the way, and OMNI on Runeberg, because in one of the Runeberg games I get pretty mad. And I'm completely happy with how everyone was playing here on Swamp in both games. Like, there was some really good individual decision making, some really nice communication, which you guys don't hear because the recordings crashed, and all of that. Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Gang out there.